Hi, this is Anoop Mishra and welcome to 6 Matrix training videos. In this training session, we are going to configure 6P, okay? And I hope you are very well aware of this topology. I have already created two labs on this topology, and there is a base lab that is in that lab in I have created this topology, and in the second lab is atom unit transport or MPLS. Okay, in this lab we are going to configure 6P. Before starting, I would like to tell you about this topology. In ISP IPv4 MPLS enabled network, we have three routers, router P, P1 and P2, and MPLS is working on this router, and the routing protocol which is configured among these routers is HIP version 2. Okay, and here there is no configuration on router C1 and there is no configuration on router C2. Okay, and in this lab we will configure MPBGP multi protocol BGP between router P1 and P2, and we will configure normal BGP between router P2 and C2 and C1 and P1. Okay, so with the help of MPLS, IPv6 traffic uh, IPv6 traffic will flow over the router from the router P1 to P, and then P to P2, and then C2. Okay, so before starting, we need to check that our MPLS is working or not. Okay, so I am on router P1 and I am going to ping router P2. Okay, so ping 2.2.2.2, and the source will be 1.1.1.1. Okay, ping is successful. Okay, let's try to trace route to check that MPLS is working or not. Okay, here you can see MPLS is working fine. Okay, and now we need to configure MPBGP between router P1 and P2. Okay, so let's start configuring, and here you can see the ISP is in AS65100 and C1 is in AS65200 and C2 is in AS65300. Okay, so start from P1 const T. So we are going to enable MPBGP. Then first we need to create instance of BGP routing. Okay, so router BGP 65100 is the AS number. Okay, and BGP router ID and BGP router ID is 1.1.1.1. Okay, so I am going to off the BGP default IPv4. IPv4 unicast. Okay, and then I am going to make a neighbor 2.2.2.2. Okay, so NEIGS neighbor. Okay, 2.2.2, and I am going to use this loopback as a source, and the same we will do on router P2 this loopback as neighbor. Okay, neighbor 2.2.2.2. Okay, then we need to specify remote AS, and the remote AS will be the same because this is IBGP. Okay, and update source, we will send our all the traffic from loopback interface. Okay, and now we need to activate this neighbor address family IPv6. Okay, address family IPv6. Okay, IPv6 routing is not enabled, so first we need to enable IPv6 unicast routing. Okay, then again go to our process, address family IPv6, and we need to enable our neighbor. Okay, we need to activate it. Okay, I have activated. Then we are going to carry our IPv6 traffic with label, so we need to type a command, and that command will do will send a label to this neighbor. Okay, send label. Okay, so MPBGP is configured for router P1, and we need to do the same configuration on router P2. Okay, conf t first enable IPv6 unicast routing. Last time we forgot enabling IPv6 unicast routing before BGP process, so this time BGP router BGP 65100, sorry, router BGP 65100 and BGP router ID 2.2.2. Okay, and no BGP default IPv4 unicast. Okay, so now we need to define neighbor, and we are going to use loopback as neighbor, and remote AS for this will be 65100, the same as. Okay, and we are also going to use loopback address. Okay, update source loopback. Okay, and now we need to activate this neighbor address family. Activate, and now we will send our traffic with labels, so we need to type the command send label. Okay, here is the message that neighbor is up. Okay, okay, now we have done with the configuration of MPBGP between router P1 and P2, and we are going to configure simple BGP between router P1 C1 and between router P2 and C2. Okay, so first we will start from router P1. Okay, we are in config router mode. Okay, so the neighbor is 2001 DB8 colon ABC colon 1 double colon 1. Okay, this is the neighbor, this is the IPv6 address of the C1, and after this we need to specify remote AS, and the remote AS is 65200. Okay, and now we need to go to address family IPv6. Okay, and the same we have to do, we have to activate this neighbor. Okay, I have activated this neighbor. Okay, and now we need to configure normal BGP between router P2 and C2. So just go to router P2, and we need to assign neighbor first 2001 DB8 colon BCD double colon 1 double colon 1. Okay, and the remote AS is 65300. Okay, and now we need to activate this neighbor. Then we need to go to address family IPv6. Okay, and just activate this. Okay, so the configuration on router P1 and P2 is done, and we have to configure router C1 and C2. Okay, so go to router C1. Okay, there is no configuration. Let me first check. Here you can see there is no configuration. Okay, so we need to do the configuration from starting IPv6 unicast routing. Okay, and we need to enable, first we need to assign IPv6 address on the interface. Okay, fast ethernet 1/0 IPv6 address 2001 db8 colon abc, okay, colon 1 double colon 1 slash 64. Okay, Mishra, exit. And now we need, I hope I have not assigned IPv6 address on the interface of PE1 and PE2. So let me first check it before configuring further. Sure, IPv6 in brief. Okay, so there is no IPv6 address assigned yet. Okay, so I need to assign. Okay, so let's first exit and interface fast ethernet 1/1 IPv6 address 2001 db8 colon abc colon 1 double colon 2 slash 64. Okay, no shut. And the same IPv6 address we need to define on router P2 interface fast ethernet 1/1 and IPv6 address 2001 db8 colon bcd colon 1 double colon 2. Okay, slash 64. No shut. Okay, so we are on router C1 and here we have to configure BGP because we are going to enable BGP between router PE1 and CE1. Okay, router BGP 65 200 is the AS number and we need to assign BGP router ID 11. Okay, and no BGP default IPv4. This is the command which may not be necessary. If you will not type this command, there will be no problem. But if you are working on router with no IP4 address configured, then you need to configure BGP router ID. But if the router have any IP4 address, then you need not to configure router ID. Okay, and no BGP, then we need to create neighbor, and neighbor will be 2001 db8. We are on router C1 and this will be the neighbor IPv6 address 2001 db8 colon abc colon 1 double colon 2. Okay, and the remote AS will be 65100. Okay, and we have to go to address family IPv6 and we need to activate this neighbor. Okay, here you can see there is a message that neighbor is up. Okay, and we have to do the same configuration on router C2. Okay, means we have to enable BGP between router C2 and P. Okay, so there is no configuration on router C2, then we need to start it from beginning. Okay, first IPv6 unicast routing, then we need to assign IPv6 address on the interface. Okay, fast ethernet 1/0 and IPv6 address 2001 db8 bcd colon 1 double colon 1 slash 64. Okay, no shut. And then we have to go to BGP process, router BGP, the AS is 65300. Okay, so BGP router ID 22. You can take any router ID. I have just taken just taken a simple simple router ID that match with the router, that this is C2 then 22.22.22.2. Okay, and I'm going to off normal default BGP for IPv4. Okay, and so we need to define neighbor this time. BCD colon 1 double colon 2 is the neighbor. This will be the neighbor IPv6 address. We are on router C2. Okay, then we need to specify remote AS, and remote AS will be 65.100. Okay, good. And now we need to activate this neighbor. Okay, so we have activated this neighbor. You can see the status of neighbor is up. Okay, so first we need to check that what this is the time when we can ping between router C1 and C2. But before going to ping, let me check what is the BGP routing table on router P1 and P2. Okay, IPv6 unicast. Okay, so it can take some time. Okay, let me clear. Okay, so you can see there is no any route. Okay, because we haven't advertised any IPv6 route from C1 and C2, so we first need to advertise IPv6 route. Okay, so we are an address family. Let's start from it from C1. We are in address family, IPv6 address family, so we need to advertise IPv6 route. Okay, IPv6 route. Okay, sorry, we need to advertise with network command. Okay, 2001 db8 abc. Okay, so I am on router C1 and I am going to advertise this 48-bit. Okay, /48. Okay, and because this in BGP, if you are advertising any network, then that network must be in your IGP. So we need to make this route in our IGP. So we need to create a static route. Okay, 2001 db8 abc /48, and I am going to assign it on null 0. Okay, the next hop is null 0, and you all know why we use null 0. Okay, so this is the configuration on C1, and the same I am going to do on router C2. Okay, so the network 2001 db8 BCD, and I am going to advertise here also 48-bit. Okay, 2001 db8 BCD. Okay, and we also need to make it on in our IGP table. Okay, so IPv6 route 2001 db8 BCD 1 /48, and the next hop is null 0. Okay, so we have advertised our networks. So let me check that this time we have our IPv6 route or not. Okay, so the same command. Okay, this time here you can see we have IPv6 route, and you can see this is the route that is learned by router P1 and you can see this is the next hop, and you can see here this is IP4 and IPv6 address combined, means IP4 compatible IPv6 address. This is the IP4 compatible IPv6 address. Here double colon FFFF colon 2.2.2. Okay, this is advertised by router P1, sorry, P2. We are on router P1, and this is the route advertised by router P2, and here you can see this is land by IBGP, and we are running IBGP between router P1 and P2, and this is the IPv6 network which is land on router P1 with directly connected router C1. Okay, and because we have created a static route on these routers, so this I symbol indicate that, and the route learned from 65 200 AS is this, and the route learned from 65 300 is this. Okay, and if we want to check on router P2, do show BGP IPv6 unicast. Okay, the same here we can have. Okay, this is route learned from IBGP, and we are on router P2, and the IBGP route is learned from router P1, and the next hop is you can see the same. It is IP4 compatible IPv6 address, and this is the AS. Okay, so let's see what is the IPv6 route on router C1. Sorry, I am on router C1. Do show IPv6 BGP IPv6 unicast. Okay, so this is the route that is advertised by router C1. So next stop is double colon, means the router itself, and this is the route that it has learned from router P1, and here you can see there is two A's, that the first is 65 100 and the second is 65 300. Okay, so let's check our connectivity. Okay, do 2001 DV8 colon BCD double colon 1. Okay, so this is the IPv6 address of the router C2. Okay, here you can see we have successful ping request, and you can trace route also. Okay, we are tracing this route. Okay, here you can see here you can see first it went to router P1, and this is the IPv6 address of the P1 router, and then it went to could you tell me who is this router? Yes, this is the router P, and you can see it has taken IP4 address and made it like IPv6 address, means IP4 compatible IPv6 address. Then it went to this router P2, and then it finally reaches to router C2. Okay, so our objective is completed. We have successful ping request from router C1 to C2, and we have created 6P on router from router P1 to P2, and we have done this lab successfully, and I hope this video has been informative for you. Thank you for listening.